I don't know everything. There's so much I'm still learning about the Catholic faith. It is something I will always be learning about, but it's not just the Catholic faith, it's about God through the Catholic faith. And I love that too, that I am humbled by how much I need to learn, you know, whereas I think when I was going to other churches, I had this feeling that I know it all, and not I know it all, but, you know, I've arrived, I've been baptized and all of that, and I've arrived, whereas I feel in the Catholic Church that I'm not there. I've got so much more to work on and do and learn. So there's that. I'm going to end there. I don't know how long this is going to be. I have babbled, I have expressed. I don't even know if I'm going to post it. Like, something's telling me I have to post it, even if it's convoluted, even if I'm yelling in some parts and quiet in others. I hope you'll forgive that. And I'm not here to be perfect. I'm not here to like be this, because this is the thing about celebrity and you know, I guess it's been there for a long time, this image of perfection. And this is what has also destroyed a lot of celebrities, because they've tried to keep that image up. And when that fails people, then they're attacked more than anybody else, because they have sometimes, I guess, perpetuated this image of perfection, perfect lives and all of that. And it's really led a lot of people astray in a lot of ways, kind of putting out this impression that money is wealth. I'm going to tell you, all the billions in the world you can have, but if you don't have love and you don't have family and a good family, you don't have God, you have nothing. You have nothing in this world. And, you know, and it doesn't hurt to have a lovely piece of land that you can grow things on and touch the earth and remember God, because that's what land does, because the land feels like home, because it is home. It's home for me. And but yeah, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you all for supporting me. You know, thank you all for accepting what I'm doing here. I'm not like I said, I'm not here to be perfect. I know I don't show my face a lot, and that's just because I am who I am, and I'll get there eventually. I need a little bit of Robert's help with that, because I can't navigate this world of people always wanting to look at you and, you know, kind of see you on video when I don't see you guys. I don't see anybody. Like, I'm still a human being, and I get to have that, you know. So I use my voice, but I don't have to use my image all the time, and I don't have to be on video just to appease other people. You know, there's also this overcritical nature that people have when they see you on video and you don't look perfect, and I've got to navigate a lot of all of that. Like, I'm not a vain person, but I also don't care for like being like publicly ridiculed just because I don't look a certain way every day or any day. I'm a country girl. I like to be natural. I don't wear lashes. I don't very rarely wear wigs. So there's all of that, like, you know, and I think that it's something people are going to have to get used to, especially as a black woman. Most black women online are dolled up to the max, and, you know, God be with them with that, because I just don't have the time for all of that. I like to look good. I like to look beautiful. I like to take care of myself. I work out. I love exercising. I'm a reformer girl, you know, I love my walks, all of that. But I don't buy into like this, you know, this need that we have to overdo it as women, because, you know, like we have to at some stage honor our natural beauty, and it's becoming more and more hard to do when people are being kind of brainwashed slowly into seeing certain things as beautiful, like lashes, big lashes and wigs and things that we don't naturally hold. Like, we just don't naturally look that way without it all. And then when they see us without it, it's like a shock and horror, like, oh my God, they're so ugly. No, that's just, we actually look normal. Like, we have to look normal at some stage, and we have to somehow as women pull that down and allow men to love us for who we are. Like, just, you know, I think that when Robert first saw me, I'm going to say this lastly and then I'll leave it here, but when Robert first saw me, I had barely a wick of makeup. I was, you know, in a routine of doing 45 minutes of yoga almost every day, and I'm not doing that anymore. Like, in my 40s, I've learned to calm down a lot. You know, I do reformer and I love that. It kicks my butt, but like reformer Pilates, that is. And I go for my walks. I love my long walks, and I do strength training as well. I make sure I do that weekly. But apart from that, I've learnt to slow down. But when I met Robert, I was not, I wasn't dolled up. I promise you. If I show you the photos, like, it was just me. Like today, if you look at those photos, you won't see, people may not recognize that as beauty, because I didn't have a filter on. I may have had a little bit of lipstick, maybe a slight bit of powder, or bit of foundation, but that's what Robert likes, believe it or not. I know he likes, his woman, like, he likes me to take care of myself. I know that, like I like him to take care of his health and himself, just for his benefit. And I think he's a damn right handsome man. And I got pretty lucky that way. Like, he's just, to me, the finest of the fine. Like, just, I was blessed beyond words with him. But when it comes to my appearance, I think that I've never had any plastic surgery, and I'm never going to have any plastic surgery. So if you see me, don't ever say, oh, she's had work done, because I just can't. I studied integrative medicine because I believe that at the end of the day, natural remedies, like, we have to go back to natural remedies as much as we can. Those remedies that have been tried and true, and even scientifically tested, particularly scientifically tested ones that have been tried and true and taught, and we've been taught that work. And then if they don't heal us, then we can look at medicine. We need, to take the tablets, but as the last resort. And the operations should be as a last resort. They're for deformities. They're for people with acute problems and diseases, or things that need to be fixed and healed. And they haven't been able to do it through diet, lifestyle, or medication, or some other intervention. But operations should not be, for vanity. Like, we really, like, that's my personal very strong viewpoint, that we should not be cutting ourselves up as women or men just to look good, because that's why people are dying, from these operations, because that's not the intention. They're bleeding out, they're getting sepsis, they're getting all kinds of medical complications from having surgeries that they're not meant to have. And you'll have that with normal surgeries. So why put yourself, your body and your life at risk because you don't want to put a filter on a camera, like, or filter on an Instagram video. Like, I'll use a filter any day if I'm not going to put on makeup. I don't care. I don't care what people think of me if I use a filter, because I can take that filter off. Once you have an operation that you don't like, and once you have that when you have that silicone in your body, and you have to go back every 10 years to get your breasts redone, you're going to regret it one day. You might regret it. You might look back and go, what was I doing? Like, so that's also why I don't appear sometimes in video, because I can't be bothered with the makeup, and I don't want to use a filter. And I also don't want people to go, oh gosh, so this is what R. Kelly chose after all that. Look, to be honest with you, like, I really don't care. But, at the end of the day, if Robert loves me, he loves me. And, he's stuck with me. And this is what he's got. And I'm going to do the best with what God gave me, because that's what, I've been taught to do. And I appreciate how I look as I'm getting older. It's changing. That's okay. I've got to work with it. If you see me and I'm not dolled up, and even if I post photos, like, you can look at it through the lens of however you want, but please look at it through the lens of what you know from this video. I'm not going to, if I wear fake lashes, I tried fake lashes. It just did not work for me. I was so uncomfortable. I don't know how women are doing it. I appreciate it for a photo shoot. There's some situations where I'll get there. I'll do all of that, wigs and for just for fun, like for a different look. But I'm just not going to do it on a daily basis. You're just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I've got things to do. I'll rather read a book. So I hope you meet us back at Bearbrook Hollow, and you learn what we're on to next and the project there. And you can get to watch me doing my vineyard and growing that from a seed to, hopefully some wine And maybe some of you might get to taste it. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see how we go. Love you all to pieces, and thank you again.